but that's a computer virus. And I thought maybe there's some relevance to that, but we'll come to that if we have time. But so, when did you become vegan?
So 13 years ago, I attended a workshop and there I learnt about giving up dairy products. And I thought it was extreme. I'm a vegetarian by birth. And I thought it was really extreme to give up dairy products. I thought I have all organic stuff. I have a very great lifestyle. I
Uh-huh.
use always natural remedies. But I thought I must give it a try before I conclude something. So
Okay.
for 30 days, I decided to give up dairy products. And we are a Gujarati household, and dairy is in everything. We make doklas and mutia and thepla, and we love chash, and dairy products are a lot. So initially, I didn't want to announce it in my family that I want to give it up. So I just said that I'll have all small things I'll have, but the big ones I'll give up. So I gave up dairy products like having curd, and I never used to drink tea, but ice creams or rasgulla or all those things. But what a miracle it happened that within 4 weeks, I used to suffer for migraine headaches for 18 years before that. I mean, they were very bad, lot of acidity, vomiting, and I would not take any allopathic because I believe in natural treatment and listening to my body. And those attacks completely disappeared. No acidity. I lost couple of kilo weight, and I felt very light and very energetic. And suddenly I just woke up. Oh my goodness! For 25 years I'm a doctor and I don't know what's wrong with milk. What is wrong with milk? And so I started my research. I gave it up 100% after that because even that little bit I was having here and there, I gave it up 100% because it is such a beautiful thing to wake up every morning with no pain, no aches and pains, no tiredness, no irritability, very calm and clear mind, and to learn to live a pain-free, what is a normal life, what is a healthy life that I experienced. Then I was at that time age 47, and there is no looking back. In last 13 years, not a single attack of headache, no migraines, never, no
Oh, lovely.
acidity. So I studied up a lot about what's wrong with milk, what is wrong with milk. And finally, initially, like, I didn't know how to make almond milk or soy milk and all those things. So I experimented in my kitchen and I did lots of different recipes and ice creams. And finally, I figured out how to make dahi because we love dahi. Gujaratis want raita and kadhi and all that. So I made all those recipes and I figured out how we can make from the groundnut or peanuts, milk and then dahi. And then finally I started a lot of cooking classes and teaching others, and it wasn't easy. People were finding it difficult to learn in the beginning, but then they picked up. And then finally I ended up writing books like this, Dairy Alternatives, because I thought book is the way. I made a lot of videos. I know you all can see reverse right now but these
Correct.
are written dairy alternatives in 3 languages, and lots of videos and teaching thousands of them now across the globe. And also the book is, I gave away to people to freely download because I want to promote the cause. It is not easy to take out the milk from the mind of Indian people because in India, the Indian subcontinent, the dairy consumption is very high. We are the largest exporter of beef in the world because of our consumption of dairy. We have the cattle, very high number of cattle, and we are constantly, uh, producing all kinds of dairy products like cheese, and the packaging has improved, refrigeration has improved, homogenization has happened, pasteurization has happened, animal is given a lot of antibiotics, hormones are given.
Of
There's a lot
course.
of problem there, and we'll end up consuming that white looking liquid thinking it's a health food. It is not.
So tell me, when people, just continuing on that, people say, and especially, I mean, let's say our, grandparents and sometimes parents, they'll say, अच्छा दूध नहीं पियोगे तो, where's the calcium going to come from? और vegan हो जाओगे तो ये protein किधर से आएगा? And so why don't you share a little bit on that? And and what do you do and what do you include in your diet to make sure that you have a good, well-balanced diet.
Sure, sure, sure. So once I turned vegan, the first challenge that I took was I have to be very, very healthy and a showcase, an example
क्या
to
बात है?
people that this is the way to health. So I took up the challenge that I will not fall sick and I will not have all those deficiencies that, all the time they keep labeling people for calcium, for protein, for B12, for
Yes.
so that was my challenge. And then I finally ended up writing a book on the most commonly asked question, what about my calcium? So that's the title of the book, What About My Calcium? And that book
Lovely.
has all the plant sources of calcium because there's a very simple question I ask to everyone, where does a cow or a buffalo get calcium from? Or an elephant get calcium from? It is the plant base. It has to be the plants. So why do we take it second hand? When we have very rich sources of calcium and the lime, the calcium is one of the most abundant mineral on the earth. So why should we be deficient? When it comes from the plant, it is easily assimilated in our body. And sunshine, and exercise, and a lifestyle where you eat a lot more healthy, then you are not going to be deficient from calcium, neither there is any protein deficiency. There is a movie called as Game Changers, which has really now changed the world. It was released in September. And this Game Changer movie showed athletes, runners, sports people from all over the world. There is a part where a strongest man on earth is from Germany, Patrick Babumium, and he is able to lift up more than a ton. And he's the strongest man, and he is on a plant base. He's a vegan. So even the Novak, he won the Wimbledon and he's a vegan. So there are so many people who are trying to show to the world that you can't have any such deficiencies. It's all just all in the mind. Actually, this diet is much better, easier on the system, and your body has a lot more energy. The wear and tear is much less. And most of my patients I usually see when they go on a plant-based diet, within 3 months, they start losing a lot of wonderful weight, healthy weight loss, but they all start looking even 10 years younger. And that's a beautiful expression. Suddenly, like the fellow looks like his own brother or something, younger brother. The skin looks very vibrant and the energy levels are high and the diseases are reversing. I am very convinced that this can't be the wrong way.
क्या बात है? I mean, and that's amazing. And the fun is that because you are, let's say, I mean, you're coming from being like a doctor and starting from allopathy and then navigating your way and experimenting. I mean, you're like an explorer. You're actually checking out. And I think that is so lovely to hear where you say the body is actually telling us and the body is crying to us, but we don't understand that language. It's like a baby crying all the time, and baby को कुछ ना कुछ खिलाते रहो and just keep putting
Yeah.
something on the other in the baby's mouth. But we are not trained or haven't actually, let's say, we haven't bothered to train ourselves enough to understand what must be going on actually.
That's right. We have to come out of a lot of, we all are victims of marketing. There are a lot of marketing, there are a lot of myths circulated around. So I would say that, like, when I passed out my MBBS and I had the degree in my hand, I say that there were two roads diverge in the wood. That's a poem by Robert Frost. And I took the one which was less traveled by. Or I would say that there was not even a road properly. We had to actually make the road that on our own and travel onto a completely uncharted territory and then make a road and then keep talking about it. So many years, like, we keep talking about this holistic approach, but my colleagues were not listening. They were not paying attention. They were very into Western medicine. But now suddenly, after all this has happened, suddenly everyone is shaken up. Everyone is realizing that probably there's some mistake, something, not right, and we need to look the other way.
it will be very important during these time. And actually, the pandemic has also given us a time to reflect on a lot of habits. And some of the things that you mentioned, one of them I think, which is just echoing in my mind, it's saying that good soil for the food that we grow, a great environment to live in, and unless we change our habits, because the 2 days that we've got news that Mumbai is kind of opening up and we've seen what's been happening. So it's just showing that we are reverting back to our old habits at the drop of a hat. So unless we all are committed to really make a true change and start developing new habits, change is going to come very slow, or it just might not come at all.
So I say that every disease comes with a lesson to learn. And unless we learn the lesson, the disease will not go away. It will keep coming back again and again to teach us the lesson. And we have to accept it. It will keep coming back in another form, till we make the change. So there are most important, the biggest mistake that we have made, the first number I would say is bringing the animals from the wild to the wild food market. They were okay in the wild and we brought them into the market, and then we thought that we should be eating them. So that's a mistake, eating the animals from the wild food markets, killing them, then thinking that animal food is very good and we must eat it. So organized factory farming, animal agriculture, they are one of the biggest environmental hazards right now. If you have a pig farm, then the pig's stool is not allowed to be disposed of anywhere. There are big puddles of huge tons and tons of this stool just lying at the back of the factories, and they are one of the biggest viral factories in the world. So animal agriculture, when you have organized animal agriculture, you are pumping them with loads of antibiotics because you are constantly focused on the outcome, on the weight. You give them hormones, you want a certain weight. You do chickens have to be slaughtered at a certain date. So you pump them with all these chemicals, you pump them with the food that they are not used to eating, and then you eat it. So I ask this question to everybody: what is the food of your food? What food your food has eaten? If your soil is healthy, you grow something very nice on it and you eat it, then it is nurturing you, and everything else is not. So is your food nurturing you? Is your food, are you eating your food or your food is eating you? You get my point. Someday, if the food is not right, it's going to eat you up. That is what is happening right now. Then too much of petroleum products, plastic, refineries, chemical pollution, air pollution is very, very high. Bombay is little bit lucky because we have a huge sea here, so some of the pollution washes out. But cities like Delhi, where the air in winter is literally unbreathable, so air pollution, then water pollution, then another really big one is pesticides. Somebody got this intelligent idea of monocrop and farming on a large scale and feed the whole world with some monocrops instead of biodiversity, and then constantly pumping herbicides and pesticides and fertilizers and using machines, and finally just hybrid versions and then genetically modified. So all of these has messed up our eco balance. More and more you kill our friends, you are not going to get support from them. You are destroying all the healthy bacteria, not only in the soil but also in your own intestine. They are our friends, we need them. But if our intestine, all this healthy lining bacteria is destroyed, we are all now going to get all kinds of autoimmune disorders, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes. All these are going to happen, even Hashimoto's thyroiditis, because what you do to the earth, same you're going to eat, and it's going to destroy you. There is no separation, there is exactly the same link. You have to clean up your act. Finally, one of the most important thing is our own mind. Human beings have to stop exploiting nature. Take only what is most necessary for our survival. There is enough for our need, but not enough for our greed. It's all perishable. We all have to live in harmony with each other, not without. We are not separate. We cannot. We are not eternal either. We are only a part of nature. We are not superior. We do not own anything. So we need to be very humble, learn the rules of nature, obey, because if you don't, then another really big one is pesticides. Somebody got this intelligent idea of monocrop, and farming on a large scale and feed the whole world with some monocrops instead of biodiversity, and then constantly pumping herbicides and pesticides and fertilizers and using machines and finally just hybrid versions and then genetically modified. So all of these has messed up our eco balance. More and more you kill our friends, you are not going to get support from them. You are destroying all the healthy bacteria, not only in the soil but also in your own intestine. They are our friends, we need them. But if our intestine, all this healthy lining bacteria is destroyed, we are all now going to get all kinds of autoimmune disorders, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes. All these are going to happen, even Hashimoto's thyroiditis, because what you do to the earth, same you're going to eat and it's going to destroy you. There is no separation. There is exactly the same link. You have to clean up your act. Finally, one of the most important thing is our own mind. Human beings have to stop exploiting nature. Take only what is most necessary for our survival. There is enough for our need, but not enough for our greed. It's all perishable. We all have to live in harmony with each other, not without. We are not separate. We cannot. We are not eternal either. We are only a part of nature. We are not superior. We do not own anything. So we need to be very humble, learn the rules of nature, obey, because if you don't, she's going to show. Right? I remember around the Diwali time, I released a magazine called as Compassion. This is a magazine, and I kept a party on terrace. It was post Diwali, and I thought, monsoon is over. And that day, right at 5 o'clock in the evening, it poured so much that the entire party location was gone in water. And then finally I had to move everything downstairs under a car park and have my little party over there. It was 100 people. But nature is doing something wrong. We didn't listen. I went to another big occasion, and there were like 5-day events and 3 days heavy rain. That was 1 month after Diwali, and nature was telling us something is wrong. This is not the time for monsoon. We didn't listen. We don't listen. There's a cyclone. We don't listen. Suddenly all the sparrows disappear. We don't listen. So right now, in last 3 months of lockdown, something so beautiful I have seen. The air has become so clean. The noise pollution is so down. We have a little garden at my residence, and suddenly I see a papaya sprouting just by itself. Maybe a crow put seeds or something, and suddenly within less than 3 months, I see 1 dozen papaya already in various stages. Just so quick, so healthy, and I didn't do a thing. I didn't water. I didn't do anything. The roots went down, fetch water, and now it's monsoon time. And I was thinking, nature is so abundant. Nature is so giving. So what are we identifying ourselves with? Are we, so I wake up to each morning with such beautiful messages. Maybe listen to a bird, look at the flower, look at the tree, look at some of the fruits like this, and then I have my faith in humanity restored. That let us associate with nature's positivity. So I make remedies from flowers, and they are all positive healing energies. So if this is the way to get, healing from nature, if nature is regenerative, it is self-healing, it is already healing itself, and let us pray and ask nature to heal us also. And each day, instead of opening newspaper with some death numbers and some panic and some stories and some medication and all that nervousness, phobias of pandemic, we choose every day to listen to positive stories, listen to the good things every day in life. This is the way to get the pandemic out of it.
So, with what I'm gathering is the amount of effort is actually not very much. Like you said, हाथी का size देखो, and बेचारा खाता क्या है? Okay, it's not having another huge animal to stay so big and gigantic. It's having some
Exactly.
green leaves and grass. Okay, now,
And
so
what strength?
yes, and
What
what's it?
strength?
So it's like they just made and designed in a particular way. All we have to do is maybe just support it in a little way. Okay. Now,
Right.
so the task, changing the habit. Of course, we say like changing habits is basically that's what life is all about. If you do, because we are bound by our habits, but these are little incremental changes. If we bring in, can have a huge impact. But these kind of little changes, unless they happen at a, even like I'm just speaking broad base, at a political level, or like you said, at a humanity level, unless each one makes a little bit of contribution towards that direction, this is a very slow moving vehicle. There's a
But I still think that whatever happens happens for a reason, and I believe that we all should go back to our roots. And when I see millions of people now walking back to their roots, and probably they want to find their roots where they came from, and then maybe look for their own livelihood where they are. That is a better way of living. And then maybe barter system, maybe living in harmony in our own community. That's a better way. Someone comes up from somewhere and says that, oh, you have a smaller car, I have a big car. And then you start feeling, that you have something less. But until then, you were happy. So it's all very relative and competitive world that we live in. Actually, all of us are given what we need. We are all perfect, and we all have a possibility to become happy where we are every single day, even today. So I see a lot of good things also happening in this pandemic. People have stayed together in the family. The bonding has happened. Suddenly there's time for so many things, time to heal, time to look at the life beyond death, because I do not see death also as an end to maybe the physical life, but we never die. We live eternal. It's only a change. So all of us, get closer to who we are, our own soul, a lot more inner strength. I think these are all good things of gifts of the pandemic.
So good. I can see. I mean, and it's happened with a few guests that like this is. I mean, these are like 1 hour talks, and which is good. I like that it's got a time thing, but I would definitely like you to share a little bit about how you started the vegan festival, the Ahimsa festival at the Vegan Society. But before that, I do want to share with everyone who's here today. We have about 10 minutes on our conversation, on our call, but we will definitely have another session because
Sure.
I know that, I mean, what you're saying is, like they say, is music to my ears, is something that, I mean, thanks to your association, we've been aware, and we do what we have to do by ourselves. But, uh, but right now, okay, let's talk about the vegan festival and how did all that start out. And of course, to let everybody know, we will have a part two with Dr. Rupa Shah because I think this information is too important. And I'm going to think about some way how we can use these tools that we have of sharing information electronically to make an impact because I think we all can be, and we have to decide to be the change drivers. Change is not going to happen itself. So, and like you said, like if, once you take responsibility of a particular type, then so I'm going to think of something. In the meantime, vegan society.
So vegan festivals, so we decided myself, Dr. With me, there were other people also. Atul Bhai Doshi was one, and we got the idea together that let us do a vegan festival. So even if it is a small one, doesn't matter. Let us start once in a year, one festival where everybody can come together. We provide a platform to all the vegan speakers from the environment point of view, from animal point of view, from health point of view, and also eating, all the food and all the vegan products. So when we did our first festival, suddenly like people, so oh my goodness, this seemed like a mainstream. There's It is the first step towards moving around healthy, slim, good looking. So it is the way to spread the message. It is not just for a small corner or some.
We have about 10 minutes on our conversation, on our call, but we will definitely have another session because I know that, I mean, what you're saying is, like they say, is music to my ears, is something that, I mean, thanks to your association, we've been aware, and we do what we have to do by ourselves. But, uh, but right now, okay, let's talk about the vegan festival and how did all that start out. And of course, to let everybody know, we will have a part two with Dr. Rupa Shah because I think this information is too important. And I'm going to think about some way how we can use these tools that we have of sharing information electronically to make an impact because I think we all can be, and we have to decide to be the change drivers. Change is not going to happen itself. So, and like you said, like if, once you take responsibility of a particular type, then so I'm going to think of something. In the meantime, vegan society.
So vegan festivals, so we decided myself, Dr. With me, there were other people also. Atul Bhai Doshi was one, and we got the idea together that let us do a vegan festival. So even if it is a small one, doesn't matter. Let us start once in a year, one festival where everybody can come together. We provide a platform to all the vegan speakers from the environment point of view, from animal point of view, from health point of view, and also eating, all the food and all the vegan products. So when we did our first festival, suddenly like people, so oh my goodness, this seemed like a mainstream. There are so many people. This is how you do it. There were great speakers over there. So it is the first step towards a lifestyle. It is doable. And there's so a lot of happy vegans moving around, healthy, slim, good looking. So it is the way to spread the message. It is not just for a small corner or some few elite people, it's for the mainstream. People become vegan because of their compassion for animals. Some become vegan for health reasons. Some are pure, environmentalists and they don't want to harm the environment, so they become vegan. Some are spiritual vegan. Some people would like to not hurt anyone, do not harm, not even in your thinking, in your speaking, and that's why you go vegan. So we brought everybody together on this platform, and so last 5 years consistently we have been doing this festivals and they are great success.
How lovely. No, and it's, I think, I mean, these things are only going to grow and grow. I feel that I think it's really a loss for somebody who's not listening to what you have to hear, what you've said today. And of course, many of I can see the viewers who are here, they follow you and they're friends of yours and ours. I was just thinking about, I'm very inspired by the series Star Trek. It was written in the
Yes.
50s, but it was called what was it, like New Age thought. And And in that, they don't have any currency in the time that it is situated. And life is different. It is the way education is, the way commerce works, is is a great opportunity to bring in a new something. And it's going to come in for people who are already thinking like that. And somebody like you, and everything, like you said, it's is related to your diet, and to have the sync between your mind, your emotion, and your body, and how you've
So,
gone about that.
whatever you eat, you become. Whatever you see, you become. Whatever you hear, you become. Whatever you speak, you become. Whatever you read, you become. Whatever you write, you become. You become also your environment. You become what company you keep. So, the compassion starts right from your plate. What you eat, what is on your plate.
You have 2 3 initiatives, on the closing. Why don't you speak about them? You are like
All right, yeah. So my website is circleofhealth.in, and then the next one I have released this magazine Compassion. This is the first India's vegan magazine, and we have a website called as compassionmagazine.in. We are also on Instagram and Facebook, and we have our YouTube channel as well. Circle of Health is a YouTube channel, and we have another new one that is called as Kitchen Doctor. We are inspiring people to become healthy right from the kitchen. So we teach housewives particularly how they can start becoming kitchen doctors. Then they will not need a doctor like me.
no, I mean,
Hopefully.
no, everybody needs a guide at some point in their life, and there really is a place for everyone. But here's an opportunity for someone to actually make a really good and sensitive and a sensible change. And we are really excited at these times. I mean, it has taken its toll, but sometimes that's the only way where we are compelled, inspired to make a new change and bring in the new innings. So really, thanks so
Absolutely.
much for sharing your thoughts. Are there any parting thoughts you would like to share with the audience? Say something.
Sure. Quickly, I just want to mention that also I have a website called as drrupashah.com, and there's another one called as Om Himalaya, that is flower remedies. And we also have a healing temple channel. So ultimately what I want to say that, death will come to all of us. None of us come, with uh, Amar Patta, we say, immortality. We all come with expiry date. So what we do today is really counts. So take life each day as it comes. All of us are going to die for sure. It can be tomorrow, it can be any other day. But let's just make each day beautiful, live in the present, live very, very peaceful, and surrender. Surrender to the higher intelligence. And the most important thing is to be aware and take guidance from nature. This is what I have done for all of 35 plus years, listening to nature and bringing in the same energy and healing ourselves.
Thank you
Nature
so
is
much.
God, okay? Nature is our God.
And they say God lies within, so it lies within everyone. You just have to exercise it, or at least discover it. So, but thank you so much, Doctor. Please give a huge round of applause and a thumbs up, of course, in this medium to Dr. Rupa Shah for sharing, all the lovely things that she has shared with us. Where there are great. It's not an alternate. I would think that this is what we were meant to discover, probably. And people like you have really made and chiseled out this way to demonstrate and yes, to show the results of it. So thank you so much, and we look forward to having another chat, and we'll fix up a date for it.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you. Have a great day.